I have a confession to you guys. I am completely new to Warhammer 40,000. Shocker. No army, no completed army anyway. And very little painting experience. I have never played a full game, and the closest I've come is watching a YouTube video. But honestly, I think that's exactly why I should be making these videos for you guys. Because there are thousands of people right now who are in the exact same position that I am in. They've heard about Warhammer, they've heard about the new edition, maybe they've watched a few videos about how the game works, or maybe a few matches online. Or maybe they've walked into a Games Workshop store, and they've sat there wondering, like I have, where do I even start? So in this video, I want to tell you exactly what my plan is over the next few months as I jump into Warhammer 40,000 from absolutely zero. Nada. Now, first, why am I even getting into Warhammer 40,000? For me, it's a combination of pretty much everything that I love. The miniatures look absolutely incredible. The lore is unbelievably deep and amazing. The painting looks relaxing. The strategy looks fun. And honestly, it just seems like one of those hobbies you can enjoy for years. Not weeks, not months, literal years. The only problem is it's also one of the biggest hobbies I've ever looked into, not to mention the most expensive. There are dozens of factions, hundreds of units, thousands of pages of lore. So instead of trying to learn everything, because that would be overwhelming, I've decided to take things one step at a time. And the first step I am taking is something I've actually learned by researching, which is learn before I buy. I think this is where a lot of beginners accidentally make expensive mistakes. You walk into a hobby store, maybe you've got one army, maybe a few. Maybe you see an army that even looks cool. You spend $200 or $300, and 2 weeks later you realize, I actually like this. I actually liked this faction. I like this other faction more. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want that to happen. So before I buy a full army, I'm watching videos, reading articles, learning the factions, learning everything I can about every faction, and figuring out which playstyle actually sounds fun to me, along with the paint schemes and the armies themselves. Before choosing an army, that is probably, because the choosing part is probably the biggest part in Warhammer 40,000 altogether, and I don't want to rush that. Step 2 is practice painting. Now, I already have a few Age of Sigmar miniatures that were given to me, so instead of letting them collect dust, I am putting them to use, and I'm going to practice painting them. Because, let's be honest, my first miniature definitely isn't going to look amazing. I already have him, he looks ugly, and I will fully admit that. And that's okay. I'd much rather make mistakes on practice models that I didn't spend a dime on than on an expensive centerpiece miniature. Painting is a skill, and nobody starts as an expert. Maybe you have some built-in talents, but nobody starts as an expert. But honestly, I'm excited to see how much I improve over the following year, improving my painting skills over these miniatures that were given to me before I move on. Anyway, step 3 is wait for 11th edition. This is actually one of the biggest reasons I decided now is the right time to start, and here we are. 11th edition is upon us. An entirely new edition is launching with, as I've said before, new rules, new miniatures, new starter products, and a whole new community that is learning together. That means I won't be showing up 3 years late trying to catch up. I'll be starting alongside everyone else, beginners and veterans, starting together. And for a beginner, that sounds like the perfect opportunity to get into Warhammer 40,000, since we'll all be learning the new edition together. Anyway, step 4, choose my first army carefully. Now, I haven't completely decided yet. I'm still between a few, and there are honestly a lot of armies that look really cool. Obviously, we've recently had a lot of conversation about orcs, because I think they're awesome, but there are still a bunch of other factions I want to learn before I fully commit to one. Because once you start buying an army, you're probably going to spend a lot of time with it. Whether that's building it, learning the lore about it, painting them, playing them, So I don't obviously want to choose one based on only what's strong right now. I want to choose something I'll still enjoy years from now, and hopefully will continue to enjoy it as my excitement in the hobby grows. Step five is actually learn how to play. This is probably the part I'm looking forward to most, but looks the most complicated. I've been watching battle reports. I've been watching Tabletop Ready recently. Not Tabletop Ready. Oh, Tabletop something. But yeah, it's just looks so much fun. You make mistakes, you forget the rules, you lose games, you have fun, you learn from your mistakes, and then you slowly get better. I have absolutely no expectations of winning right away. I just want to have fun. I'll probably lose a lot, but that's part of the learning curve. It's part of learning everything new. You know the saying, you have to lose to know how to win, or something like that. You have to win so you know how to lose. You have to lose, whatever. Anyway, moving on. There is something that I want to do differently on this channel. I don't want to pretend I'm an expert. I have openly said this before, because I'm obviously not an expert on Warhammer 40,000. There are plenty of channels that have been covering Warhammer for 10, 15, maybe even 20 years now. I have not been doing that. That's obvious. But what they're doing is awesome, but that's not what this channel is. Their channel are maybe based around expert opinions. This channel is about documenting the journey. You'll see my first army, my first painted miniature, my first games, and definitely my first mistakes too, my first losses, probably what I thought about the game, everything. You'll learn right alongside me, and hopefully a year, maybe 2 or 3 from now, we will both know a whole lot more than we currently do today, because today we are starting, well, with the knowledge that we don't have of the future. I actually think that's one of the biggest advantages to being a beginner. Everything is exciting. Every new miniature is obviously thrilling. Every new rule is complicated but is awesome. Every new faction just gives you something more to learn about, and every game teaches you something new. I'm getting to experience this hobby for the very first time. Period. And I think that's something worth sharing with the internet and documenting my story, so that not only you guys, but so that I can look back and see how far I've come. So anyway, here's the plan. Learn the lore, practice painting. Simple. Wait for 11th edition. Already has come. Choose my first army carefully. That's in the process. Learn the game. Sort of happening. And document the entire journey here on YouTube. That's also happening. No pretending I know everything. No gatekeeping. Just one beginner figuring out Warhammer one step at a time. Simple, right? Yay. Okay. Anyway, if you're brand new to Warhammer 40,002, like me, or maybe you've been thinking about getting into the hobby, I'd love for you to come along for the journey and learn from my mistakes, because we will learn a lot together. We're going to make mistakes together and hopefully build some pretty awesome armies along the way. That's the hope anyway. If that sounds interesting, consider subscribing. No pressure or anything, but it does help me out. Anyway, my name is Zach. You're watching Warhammer Zone. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys next week, next Thursday, in the next video. Peace.